The Foreign Minister Sabry revealed that Sri Lankan authorities are optimistic on receiving the IMF bailout package within this month. During an interview with WION, the Foreign Affairs Minister stated that the President's unpopular decisions are crucial for the economy at this juncture, while also claiming that what's good for the country is bad for the opposition.
One question that everyone is asking is, when do you get the IMF bailout? There have been support extended by India. India, in fact, was the first country, but there have been, of course, countries who have not been very open about it.
Right now, we are very optimistic. So once again, India took the lead and gave that assurances the way IMF wanted, and Paris Club followed that. And China had given some sort of an assurance, but it is not compatible with the IMF, but we are still talking to them. So we are very hopeful that China will also, they have their own concerns, but they will also come back on track. So hopefully with everybody's support, we will get the IMF bailout within this month. We are very, very hopeful.
So you said by end of this month, there will be an announcement. How optimistic you are?
I'm very optimistic. It's not optimistic, it's pragmatic, because we have done everything else and you couldn't have asked anything else for Sri Lankans to do. Our President spoke to Managing Director of the IMF, and all indications are that we are all very optimistic, both in terms of the institutions as well as the country, that it will realize this month.
Is China dragging its feet when it comes to extending the support for IMF bailout? And what are the reasons do you think that China has been a lagger when it comes to its support?
No, I wouldn't say so. China has its own concerns because China had been a huge lender during the last 10 years or so. And naturally, they are very careful because they have lent to so many countries. Anything which happens here could become a precedent. So we need to give them a little bit of time because they are not used to like the Paris Club and the other countries who have been traditional creditors and lenders for a long period of time.
Do you think the Chinese are responsible for the debt crisis, not only in your country but globally as well? Because that's the perception, like, for sure when it comes to China.
But I don't agree with that, to be honest. I think Chinese have not come forcefully and given us money and said that take it and put it into this project. We have designed our own project and sought funding. So Chinese have come and given to us. We should understand to which you put those funding. You must put the funding into a project which will give you return so that you can pay back. So if we have not done that properly, you can't blame anyone else. So it's our problem, probably. I would say that Sri Lanka went through this because of bad debt, bad policies. Basically, we are not as a government proponent of blame game. We are here to work with everybody and reclaim our country.
Because of the IMF policies, you are putting in place policies which will lead you to get the bailout package. Now, do you think that it will lead to political crisis?
What is happening right now is politically motivated protest by the opposition like any other country. So there is huge difference between those two that will continue to take place because in democracy, that's how people have the right to express themselves. So this is nothing to do with anything of the sort what we saw last year. Not only IMF, whether with the IMF or not, these reforms are going to be unpopular. We know that. Governments know that. And the problem that Sri Lanka facing today is populist policies without looking at the the structural alteration on that and the long-term sustainability of it. I'm glad that my president are taking them head on. Despite this is very unpopular, taking those decisions, and the results are there for everybody to see. All the indications are there, we are en route. That's where the opposition get little restless because they know they are losing the opportunity right now, because if country stabilizes, if the results are there to everybody to see, it's bad for opposition. Good for the country means bad for opposition, unfortunately. And by 10 years, hopefully, we have laid the foundation. Whether we are in government or not is not the issue. If my country is back on track for development, a sustainable growth path, that's what it means.